Hey guys, it's the Energy Profit Dynamo here from America. No, I'm not from America. Yeah, basically just tuning in real quick. Just want to show you this. So there's like 2,900 solar coming in. Here, I'll use my cursor. And my load's like 300 or 370. And look, they're charging. So they're, at the moment, so they're charging me this grid consumption when I've got this much power coming in. And so the completely messed up thing about all this is that it's not recorded in my inverter, which the inverter does everything, and it has a record of everything that happens in the house. So basically, all this stuff that you're seeing, through the smart meter, isn't really happening. And how it all works, how they do this technology is they get the devices in your house to send signal backs if they can, like a radio frequency. And then they consider that to be a certified amount when it's just data in the air based on a radio frequency. So I have no idea how. I mean, it doesn't take anyone, you don't need a rocket science to figure out why and how we're in this situation. It's because the Australian government has prostituted itself to international money. So here's basically the table. How can I do that? I'll try to show you it. So I'll reset this. And so what we were just watching should come up here. It should be detailed here because all this grid consumption we've been observing during this short 5 minute plus whatever video is not happening. And so I've got video upon video that shows that this figure here goes up, and yet there's only odd sporadic info available that is a complete lie that's recorded on here. So for example, I'll zoom right in on this. And so here's this amount here. So basically the battery, when it discharges with from the system at 3,000. So what that means is 3,000 here of my load, right, can be scrubbed off, right? And so what's remaining is 91, right? And look what we've got coming in. We've got 2.91 or 96, sorry, coming in. So we've got way more than what's required. And what have they done? They've gone and charged close to 500 watts in consumption. And so what does this do? Well, as time goes along, and that's what I was saying, is this goes up. And then when you look at the inverter, it'll either have nothing at all. I'm trying to get this. It'll either have nothing at all reflected on the graph here, or it'll have a thing that we just analyzed, right? We just analyzed that, and it shows clearly that it was like a stab to your face kind of thing, a complete lie to your face. And so now you see we're just watching here this dance that's happening where they continuously charge me a little bit of feed in, a little bit of grid consumption like this, and just goes over and over and over, and none of it's legitimate, and it's all based on radio frequencies, and I haven't used any of that power nor provided any of that power. And I am that shocked to the level of control that's been given away to them that in the last 3 days, I've noticed the change on the grid consumption, which is detailed here, so now they're doing it, so that's convenient, directly changes with the solar amount. So it makes me question um, the entire system that they're using to meter us. Because if they are intercepting the power that's coming into my house from my solar system and then charging me money for it, that's what I'm suggesting. And making it appear as though it's grid consumption. And what is it? Well, that is brilliant business. I can't think of anyone that could come up with a better business capitalist idea. Well, I can't think of one better, really, other than charging people for oxygen. Anyway, I want to keep this video short. I'm trying to help Australia. I'm trying to be a teacher and educate you about what's going on. The smart meters need to be put a stop to. They're not smart. All that they are is a massive smart scam, and I can prove it. The I can't find the right words to say that what they've done is just absolutely abysmal. I can't think of a better word. I mean, we put them into power to build our nation great, do all this sort of stuff. We're a capitalist system, so we have to have that government that's caring and compassionate, because if it's not there, then this sort of stuff happens. So anyway, I know the answers are with God's kingdom personally. However, the reason I am here is because I'm getting ripped off. This is a rip-off. And so, I tend to put my full heart into things, and yeah, that's just the way I am. But just tell me, how can you say that this is even a meter when they individually send frequencies through the air that have nothing to do with legitimate, bona fide power usage? And then they send these figures through a dark web, if you would, a dark net that's encrypted. So this data that goes from here, that gets picked up at the metering company called Acumen Metering, which is Canadian, which is the same company that paid $2 billion to the Australian politicians, and that have rolled out, in the guise of AI, net zero. And this massive scam. And why? You've got to think about it. Why? They're losing all their customer base. They're losing their profits. Why? Because they start going on about all this rubbish. Because the reality is this. We have one of the most outstanding networks on the earth of solar panels on roofs. And we are one of the greatest sun-rich countries in the world. These capitalist businesses will destroy an entire village to run a pipeline through it. And will do it off the books so no one ever knew a thing about it. This is the sort of company capitalists operate. And so these international business tyrants have already prostituted your government. And, because it's a capitalist system, it's all just like straight host by a parasite. So they've hijacked everyone's stuff, and they're ripping everybody off, and no one, and it's not even in the media. And I wouldn't be surprised if you put a keyword on a video. Look, I'm uploading these videos, I'm hardly getting anything, and I've got a heap of keywords there. But they probably flagged, it said smart meter or something like this, because that's what they're doing in this country. They're controlling information. so that they get away with what they are doing. And I'll tell you now, there's a massive percentage of the poor in this country that are in debt with debt collectors onto them now, because they simply can't afford what this scam has affected them with. And so once again, just analysing this, so let's say I'm using 400 and I've got 2300 coming in. And look at this, they're charging me this. So they're basically charging me my own, so this is what I've been analysing. This is the latest thing I've noticed from them. Because this figure tends to swap real quick. Look, it goes straight to a feed-in. And so it looks like what they're straight up doing, and this is only in the last like 3 days, is going, oh, he's got this much solar coming in. Oh, let's take a percentage of that and call it grid consumption. They're skimming off the top. And they're doing that already. Like, I'm already onto them with them doing that already. Because what all of you need to realize is your Clipsal power switch is now worthless. And also what happened, because that went off at 4500, which meant you could watch your TV, you could have your stereo cranking, you could have the heater on, and then you could go and run the kettle and put the microwave on. But now when you go and put the microwave on, boom, power goes out. You go, oh, what the hell happened, you know? Clip will switch fine. Nothing's happened to it. It's switched inside of the smart meters what's happened. Because that triggers now at 3800. Which happens to just be the amount that's just so close to what a hot water system on a controlled load requires. That when you do a smart meter change, you no longer get separately metered by that anymore. And so they've just compounded your situation, basically doubling it in your power usage. In that also, your controlled load, you don't get 27.11 cents or whatever it is. It's back to 56 cents a kilowatt to heat your hot water. So yeah, this is the biggest scam that there's ever been. And no one's saying a thing about it, and the government's just passing laws through because they've prostituted themselves because they've been given all this money. And, you know, it makes no sense at all because they're doing the worst governing this country's ever seen, and they're getting paid the more money that this country's ever seen as well. Have you seen how much they're paying a day for people to go and work at ballot booths? You know, it's almost like they're creating their own voting thing by paying people to rock up. And all in the spirit of obfuscation where no one knows a bloody thing, but people are getting a lot of money. And they are. They're ripping everyone off. I mean, I don't know how the king of this thing doesn't come with his sword and start chopping heads off. You know, I mean, this is unbelievable. Because I know if this sort of stuff happened back when kings ruled, real kings, people would be hung from trees for this sort of complete break of integrity to the people over which they govern. I mean, the people themselves would kill the monarchy if they inflicted this upon them. And see, this is the greatest act. This is one of those acts of war where they extort your resources from you and you don't even know it's happening. So welcome to the conversation. Thanks for your time watching the video. This is Dynamo just keeping his finger on the pulse. And you know, let's shut down this rip-off. All right, everyone, take care. Dynamo switching off.